Hey everyone. I used to say I love talking, but right now I'm so nervous. But I think that's how you know you love something or someone. You get nervous when you're around them, right? Anyway, to start my talk, I am Kennito, also known as Ken with my family. I am a TikTok content creator focused solely on men's makeup and skincare. Right now, I have with me an object. If you can see, but I also show it on screen. What's this? Right, it's a lipstick. It comes in different shades and different formulations, and a lot of brands came up with their take on it. It's a product widely known to use to color your lips and to make you more attractive. But oftentimes, or most of the times, it's also a product that is highly gendered, often associated with femininity, women, and most of the time, when a man wears it, or uses it, or just brings it around, gayness. Now, I'd like to ask you another question. What if one day you saw your dad, your tito, your uncle, your kuya, or any male figure in your household wear makeup and lipstick right in front of you? How would you feel? You're used to them being so masculine, being so strong, that one day when decided to wear a lipstick, would it change how you view them? But anyway, before you answer that question, let's answer the question first. What makes a single lipstick a highly gendered object? Back in the 18th century, men have been using makeup in so many different ways. Until the advancement of 18th century, they've stopped using it because of the fear of the notion that they would be associated with femininity or, in worst aspect, gayness. But stay with me here because we're going through some facts. Back in the 18th century, according to the Halifax Public Libraries, makeup was widely used by Egyptians in myriad of ways. They would use black eyeshadow to line their eyes and to make it look like this. And they use it to display their power, their authority, and their wealth. Chinese royalties, although not visible here, they would use nail polish to say they are wealthy, that they are of well-being. And even with the British, they would use makeup to make themselves attractive to the public. However, come the Victorian era, if you're familiar with Queen Victoria I, she would often use makeup to make herself presentable in front of the people. But for some gullible reasons, she started abolishing makeup, labeling makeup as a devil's work even. It's funny because she would use makeup to make herself look more attractive because according to research, not just mine, she was not the most physically attractive person to have ever lived. So oftentimes she would use makeup to hide her insecurities and to make herself more appealing to her court. But maybe when she started seeing men wearing makeup looking better than her in the court, she felt triggered. She felt challenged. And so one day she said, makeup is lewd. Makeup is only for women. And makeup is never for men. And we have carried that ideology up until this day. We have made to believe that men can't wear pink, or men can't wear skirt, or men should only sit in a certain position, or should only check their nails in a certain way, like this and not like this, or should sleep in a certain position. And most of the times, the worst part, men should not show any vulnerability. It's sad to say because in today's generation, especially with the younger ones, we have adapted this. I remember when brands started endorsing products that are labeled for men. I remember Chanel exclusively made products, makeup products in specific for men. But as per sales, they were not that successful. As a content creator, I have received a lot of offers, brand partnerships for products that are specifically labeled for men. Facial wash for men, concealer for men, soap for men. But I ask the question, what makes a man's skin so different than a woman's? Oftentimes they would say, this is highly concentrated. This is a different formulation to better cater in large pores, large acne, wide sprung texture. But often I ask, isn't that also women's problems? Don't we all at the end of the day share the same problem? Don't we all at the end of the day just want to look good and feel good, regardless of gender? And so I said no to these brand offerings because I knew to myself that defeats the purpose of trying to move past the old age standards and started accepting that the reality that there is no label no matter what cosmetic product you should use. When I started uploading my TikTok videos, I came out from a frustration. If you didn't know, I was back and forth Manila for 4 years since 2017, braving my independent living, trying to make out a career, a living, and finally do something tangible that I could say to my parents, be proud of me because I did it. But during those 4 years, nothing ever happened. Came the pandemic when I had to audition for a reality TV show. I received a lot of callbacks, 4 times even, and I felt that time I was so near to my dreams. Until the last part of the audition process, they started to reject me. And back then, I didn't see it as a redirection. It was solely a rejection. I was so sad, I was so down, because when the time that I was finally seeing something, that I could finally touch something so tangible to make my purpose come true, it all failed. Or so I thought. And so I uploaded a simple get ready with me video on TikTok. It was so simple, it was so random. As far as I can remember it, it was during Christmas Eve. It wasn't even a makeup tutorial, it was just me getting ready for a live stream. Because back then, I thought to myself, if celebrities can wear makeup on screen, so can I. Only this time, I am on a smaller screen. So I uploaded my first ever Get Ready With Me video, and surprisingly, I gained traction. After 2 days, I gained, I think, 5,000 followers. And I was so happy back then. But also, fear arose in my heart because I knew comes with it are criticisms that I didn't want. I was so scared that my family would neglect me. I was so scared that people would take me for granted or people would define me other than who I know myself to be. And so I took a step back. But the moment I took a step back, I realized I got lots of DMs on my Instagram. I'm not even joking. These are people from all around the world asking for product recommendations, asking for tutorials, or even just showing their appreciation for giving them the confidence, for giving them the will to be themselves and walk through department stores and buy products they want to use on themselves. And that time alone, I've realized I've stepped onto a bigger shoe. I have a bigger responsibility to fill in. More than the fame, more than the number, more than the following, I knew that day forward, I have to keep touching hearts. I have to keep moving. But it came with a price. Back in 2021, I had to get out of school. I have been on hiatus for 2 years after graduating senior high school. The pandemic happened, so I didn't go to college right after. And so when I finally decided to go to college, I found a deeper purpose. I told my parents I have to go out of school and pursue my career, a career which I wasn't really sure of that time. Who would make a career out of makeup, especially a man, right? I mean, cosmetics is still a woman's world, and that's how we acknowledge it. But there's nothing wrong. But I've always believed there will always be space for men in the cosmetics industry. And so when I told my parents I have to give up my studies because I can't do all things at once. But back then, I didn't have any brand exposure, brand collaborations. I moved through my fears, but I believed that by faith, something will happen for me. I trusted my followers, I trusted my viewers, and during that year, I have secured my first brand ambassadorship with Bench Beauty. And during that year also, I have secured my first ever fashion runway with Bench. Like, who would have thought that a single move could make me realize my dreams? And that same year where I was so scared to give everything up for makeup, I moved into my first condo. I was so happy, I was over the moon because finally, life was happening for me. Fast forward to this year, I bought my first car. And that's all because I braved through my fears. The fear of judgment, the fear of criticism, the fear of people looking down on me because I'm a man in the cosmetics industry. And oftentimes I get asked, how do you identify yourself? But I would always answer, how do you identify me instead? Because at the end of the day, that's you, and I don't owe anybody an explanation. You do you. Do what makes you confident, do what makes you comfortable, do what excites you. Because at the end of the day, you don't answer to anybody but yourself. Oftentimes I would ponder how a journey it has been with makeup. Super unexpected, super unprecedented. But I knew from that moment that because I braved through my fears, life happened for me. I've realized that if we started not really normalizing, I don't believe in normalizing even, because when people were asking me, do you believe in normalizing men's makeup? Because first and foremost, that's normal. There's no need to normalize that something that's already normal. It's just as easy as brushing your teeth. You brush your teeth regardless of your gender because you have teeth and probably you have bad breath. And at the end of the day, it's just a commodity. So the next time that you see someone wear foundation on, my encouragement would be, especially with guys, don't look twice to analyze who they are. They may be in different spectrum, of the gender. Don't analyze who they want to be. Or don't even try to suggest who they are. Instead, maybe just suggest a better shade match. Because at the end of the day, boy or girl, you always want to look good. You always want to look better. And regardless of gender, we all get pimples. We all get acne marks that we want to cover. And by the end of the day, there's no assigned birth gender to any makeup or cosmetic product. So my challenge for everybody here, especially the younger generations, is to keep questioning the status quo. Keep challenging the social status, the norms, and the standards that the old generation has so gone forth for us. And to break these barriers. Because as I quote, as an inspirational speaker, if you know Miss Rachel, you know Miss Rachel, right? You don't know Miss Rachel, but she's really popular with the kids. She would say, A as in apple. You have to follow me. A as in apple. A. Again. A. No, I don't hear anybody from the back. A. Okay, now you know Miss Rachel, but I'm not Miss Rachel. Miss Rachel reaches out to the kids, but I heard her one time spoke through a university graduation, and she said something like, if you see a way for the world to be better, we owe it not just to ourselves, but to others as well, to use our unique gifts and talents to try and change the world. We cannot guarantee anything, but it's guaranteed nothing will change if we don't try. That's all. Thank you.